Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
It's time to play the game. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. This is The Payoff. Jeff, how the hell are you doing?
Doing good, man. Post Rumble season, like we're going back and talking to Rumble, or didn't talk a whole lot of Rumble this year because there's only so much, but because there's so many other good matches, and this is one as well too, kind of right around this time of year that no reason to not talk about this one because very good match. Very excited about this one.
We are on the road to WrestleMania.
Finally, that's right. We are. Get hype.
Why'd you want to cover this one?
Yeah, so more than anything, like I think that this was just kind of the timing of this one. Like it was an interesting one that I'd been wanting to cover. Actually, I think that we had this one slated previously, and then I said, "Hey, let's go and we'll kind of do some other stuff here." Some interesting storylines as well too on this one. Kind of what was happening this year. This was Triple H. A kind of spoiler on this one. Triple H was number one on the PWI for 2000, and so I don't even think I remembered that or knew that. And so I think just kind of watching him, and this was probably my favorite time to be watching Triple H as well too. And no discredit to Cactus Jack at this point, Mick Foley, what he did, because just revolutionizing everything. But trying to play off some of the old angles that they had and stuff like that. But this is just a lot happening and a lot of good reasons to cover this one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I wanted to cover Mick Foley's final match.
Yeah. And it's simple. I mean, in quotes, final match, but yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, these two were very, very good. I think I've said it before. This is one of the most underrated feuds in the history of the business, I believe. I think this is just an awesome feud that doesn't get the notoriety of a Rock Austin, but man, it's like right at that next level above the all-time great feuds. Really, really good stuff. And Jack absolutely made Triple H a star during this era. And Jeff, I agree. This is the best work that Triple H did.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a character and as a performer. So let's get right into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
So we're on the road to WrestleMania, as we discussed, and fun show. Like I like the idea of this kind of pre-WrestleMania. I thought those fast lanes they've done recently sucked, but I thought that back in the day they used to do some pretty good stuff. I even liked some of the old elimination chambers. Do two of those to determine or one of those to determine the contender that didn't win the Rumble. So I don't know. This was fun though. Kurt Angle would win the IC title over Chris Jericho to open the show. Dudley's defeating the New Age Outlaws for the tag titles. So short match, but obviously a fun feud. Mark Henry defeating Viscera. This match was 3 minutes and 48 seconds too long. Edge and Christian defeating the Hardy Boys to determine the number one contenders. So they went 17 minutes. Obviously these two tag teams have been through a lot by 2000, but man, you've got Dudley's and New Age Outlaws, Edge and Christian and the Hardys. I mean, a couple of really good tag matches there on paper.
We're 4 matches in, and other than obviously the one, pretty stacked.
Oh yeah. And then as you say that, Taz defeating the Big Boss Man in 47 seconds.
Hey, don't shit on the Big Boss Man. You know how I feel about that guy.
X-Pac defeating Kane in 7 minutes in a no DQ match. But then things heat up again here. Too Cool defeating the Radicals in a 6-man tag match. A lot of talent in that match.
Yep.
Big Show defeating The Rock to become the number one contender. at WrestleMania 2000.
Oh,
now,
man.
ironically, that's your semi-main event. Your main event is Triple H and Cactus Jack for the championship. But as we know, these four men would all be involved at WrestleMania. So
thank God we didn't get Triple H versus Big Show. Oh boy, that would have been a hell of a WrestleMania.
Can you imagine coming out of this show thinking that? Oh my God.
Oh boy. Yep.
Just never used Big Show the right way. So the star ratings for this show weren't spectacular, but like I said, on paper, man, looked like a pretty stacked show to me. In terms of the talent involved. You could probably talk about this for hours, but give us a wrap on how we get to these two in the blow off Hell in the Cell final match of this awesome storied rivalry.
Yeah. So this is one. So you had December 1999. This show taking place, No Way Out, was February 27th, 2000. So we'll rewind it a little bit here. You had Triple H actually beating Vince McMahon at Armageddon, which was in December. It was a no holds barred match. Of course, this was the kind of cringe storyline after Stephanie, who, Triple H drugged her, married her against her will. Like that was the kind of catalyst, of course, for that match at Armageddon, excuse me. And so it's Stephanie then betraying her father and siding with Triple H. So this leading into, of course, what we all know is, now affectionately the McMahon Helmsley era. And so Vince, quote, leaving the company, Shane leaving as well too. And so that means you have Stephanie and Triple H then in power. And so kind of everything that goes along with that. So immediately though, DX reunited and they started taking out like kind of anyone that had ever wronged them, their list, if you will, of people. And so started with a pole match between Foley, who at the time, who was wrestling as Mankind, and The Rock. And again, on a pole, I don't know why we do these matches, but we do. This was the pink slip, your firing slip hanging at the pole. And the first man to grab it would keep his job. And so Mankind losing that match and being fired. So, fast forward a couple weeks later, Triple H beating the Big Show actually to regain the WWF Championship, which he actually lost to the Big Show at Survivor Series. And so this is another crazy one, like we've talked about in weeks previous. Like this was actually an episode of Raw where Triple H beat the Big Show. So you were getting your rematch for a Survivor Series match on Raw, which, something to be said. Maybe that's something to go back to. Who knows? Like, give us a little bit more of that. And this was not like the Intercontinental Championship. This was the WWF WWE Championship. And so, but you had later that evening, though, after Triple H winning that one, actually Foley coming through the crowd to help The Rock. It was actually a handicap match against DX, helping The Rock win his match so that he would not get fired. So, shenanigans, of course, ensue. You have 1 week after that, you have Mankind being reinstated and wrestling with The Rock and the Acolytes against all four members of DX and winning that one. Actually, Triple H winning that one after pinning Mankind. And so, and then it was announced at that point, again, we're just moving through the shows, kind of playing out and things like that announced on Raw that Triple H would defend his title at the Royal Rumble against Mankind. Now, however, though, that the Mankind himself announced that he was not ready to face Triple H, but he had a substitute ready, and of course announcing him as the one and only Cactus Jack. And so who Cactus Jack had not been seen for almost 2 years. It was actually after WrestleMania 14, March of 1998, that we would see him at that point. So they actually had a street fight, which Triple H won. won that match. Now, again, moving forward, just the weekly shows, Raw is War again. Triple H giving Cactus another chance at the title at No Way Out in a match of his choosing at this point. And so Cactus choosing, a match of Cactus Mick's choosing. Cactus choosing, of course, why wouldn't he? Hell in a Cell, and saying that he would retire if he lost this match. So, couple weeks, kind of nice little story here, like really the start of the McMahon Helmsley era, and kind of dealing with that as well too. A few matches to kind of build up. You had Rocky involved as well too. Multiple members of DX. Just a lot happening, but pretty like explaining it pretty clear and concise. Makes a lot of sense what we were getting. Where the build.
Yeah. Again, great stuff. Love it. We're at the 2 hour, 8 minute mark of No Way Out 2000, 2 hour, 8 minute mark, No Way Out 2000, season 2, episode 1. Are you ready?
I believe so. Yep. As my Peacock would load here. Be all ready to go. Here we go. Yep. 208. Right.
It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
There we go.
Page coming down.
Look at the intensity, man. I mean, Foley, looks great. He's got the Cactus Jack get up on. He's ready to go. Triple H ready to go. Dude, I don't know. I don't think you see this intensity that often anymore.
Not anymore. I absolutely agree. Just a pure, like, not even hatred, but just like rivalry. Like it just, yeah.
They don't like each other. It means a lot. Like even with the fakeness of pro wrestling, you're like, these two are both ready to put on a show, right? Like these guys are like, this isn't a, hey, I'm making a good living and life's good and we're going to entertain the fans. Ha ha ha. I mean, this is like super intense. Like you can tell it means something for them to have a great event.
And Foley coming out strong right out of the gate, really like going at Triple H, or just in the center of the ring at this point. This is the Hell in the Cell, of course. So they've got the little bit of ring outside of the ring to kind of walk around on as well too. Maybe a little bit of spoilers here, Tom. Though I do see some feet hole cut in that side of the cell as well too. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But you don't see that every time too. So Foley's kind of shaking the door. McMahon's on the outside. They've got probably a dozen padlock chain link like locks on that door. So that door is absolutely not opening this time. I don't think we've seen that since, like that many locks. They are up and down the side and the top of the door.
Yeah, it's on the outside. It's an interesting look, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it adds to it. Like you have one lock right now and you've got the ref that just kind of unlocks the door for him sometimes too. But right now, like, okay, like this kind of tells you like we're getting a finish. Like we don't know how, and we'll have to see how it plays out and things like that, but we'll just kind of see what happens and go from there. So, man,
I mean, just going right for the face on the,
oh, and there's a low blow for you. Yep. So I've got a question for you, actually, Tom. This was one that was posed by Reddit, actually, and with Mick Foley has been worked for, I feel like, every promotion under the sun, and kind of doing that is, and we talk a lot about like all of Tony Khan's signings and things like that, and kind of what's happening. But you got a list, or who pops to your mind? This is which wrestler had the most disappointing run in another promotion?
You mean like thrived in one promotion but had a terrible run in another?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great question.
So I'll give you the first one, the biggest comment on this one, and this is just a Reddit thread that I'm kind of reading off of. The first one, of course, is Bret Hart in WCW.
Oh, yes. I love that.
And so, and kind of how they treated him. So that I'll let you start there. That was the first name that they have on this list.
Okay. There probably can be no bigger, more egregious example of someone not using Bret Hart. Because here's why. This is the number one star, okay, in the industry, worldwide, at the time, more over than he had ever been, wrestling the best matches he had ever wrestled, doing the best promos he had ever done and coming off the screw job. You have all of that and you completely screwed it up. So that's the worst ever. Another example would be Sting in the WWE.
Yep.
That was horrible too. How hard is it to book Sting? You know, you look at what he's still doing at a very high level. So, you know, spare me, you know, Vince and Bruce Pritchard, they're going to tell you, oh, well, you know, Sting was past his physical prime. Who cares? So was Taker, and look what he did. So those are two big time examples that I can think of. What about you? What else comes to mind?
Some of these other ones, and one that popped into my mind, also WCW, would have been Ultimate Warrior in WCW. Like never.
There's got to be something you can do with the guy. He's a huge star. Exactly.
So somebody, and this kind of spans all ages and ranges and years. Like they've had DDP in WWE. Like absolute rock star in WCW. And so, you know, kind of dealing with that. And so one and a more recent one here, which, you know, we would talk about something like EC3 on WWE's main roster. Like it was, you know, never got over after coming over, stuff like that. You had Sting in WWE, Bret in WCW. That's on here as well too. And dealing with that. Sting in WWE, a lot of comments about Sting in WWE and kind of dealing with that. And so they had two, here's what we have. Lex Luger in WWE was bad. And so saying that Lex Luger's WCW run was a lot better. This one almost disappointing. Keith Lee coming up from NXT to the main roster, which, how about Kurt Hennig in the WCW? Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, he was so past his prime.
Vader in WWF was another one. Yeah, Bret.
Vader was so physically beaten up by that point. There just wasn't a lot left in the tank, unfortunately.
There's just so much Sting and Bret on this one that, it just hard to say anything. How about Stunning Steve in WCW?
Yeah, but you didn't know.
You didn't know who he was. Yeah, no. Yeah, you didn't know who he was.
I don't fault the ones that are like, how did you not push? How did you not push Triple H when he was in WCW or Kevin Nash? Well, because you didn't. You just didn't know what was there, and you have to develop the right character and all that stuff. But once someone that's a star goes somewhere, it's like, how in the hell could you screw this up? But sure enough,
I think we can both agree that Bret is probably number one on that list. And there was a lot of Bret and Sting comments. I would put Bret above Sting. It's like, you got Foley going to this match, calling for a chair shot now and kind of feigning and hitting Triple H. Yeah. I do think that poses an interesting question. There's so many times we talk about that, but like big names, like, Bret being the biggest on that one, they had him in the monster trucks. They had him NWO, like you said, coming out of the screw job and literally doing the WCW signal and you can't figure it out. It's that's just terrible.
Well, the other thing too, again, didn't switch promotions, but I still think one of the biggest missed opportunities of the recent past is, how do you screw the Bray Wyatt thing up?
Oh, yeah.
You had gold. You had the next Undertaker. You had 10, 15, 20 years of this guy if you wanted it, and you screwed it up. One of the biggest characters of all time. You could have done anything you wanted with him, but we give him the title. We take the title off. We put him in lousy. I mean, horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'm looking at, this is, of course, we've heard these before, but this is the 10 worst booking decisions in Raw history, according to the Sportster. I will start at the top, actually. They say, which we have this on our list, the Brawl for All, being one of just the worst ideas ever. Number 2, Triple H and Katie Vick, which, yep, I'll give them that. Number 3 being the anonymous Raw general manager.
Oh, that was horrible. That's far worse than the Brawl for All. I didn't think the Brawl for All was that bad. I mean, it didn't work. You wouldn't do it again, but I didn't think it was terrible.
No. Number 4 being Mae Young giving birth. Number
so over the top that it's kind of just like whatever. I mean, it wasn't that type of humor, but I don't think it did any damage.
The actual Kiss My Ass Club, number 5. And dealing with that. And here's an interesting one. Rey Mysterio's under 2-hour title reign. And so losing it the same night, or winning it from the Miz, and then winning it, beating the Miz to win the vacant title, and then losing it to John Cena on the same show. Interesting one. Higher Power revealed is on here as well too. So yeah. Interesting list here. Yeah. So many of these like kind of booking decisions. And I think you're dead on with Bray. It's interesting too. It says something to his star power. Like when's he going to show up? Like, oh yikes. I thought that was on the ladder. That was, it might start on the steps. Excuse me. Oh, yikes. Yep. Using the cage a lot on this one. They're on the outside. They're kind of beating the hell out of each other around the ring and things like that. Too, even like, and I'll be honest, I forgot he was still with the company until they fired him again. Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Like, just another one.
That's a good one. I mean, I know they got some NXT stuff out of him roster, but it's like, that's one where it's like,
yep.
Oh, hey, I'll give you another one. Kurt Angle's comeback.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I mean, Samoa Joe was a rock star in every promotion. And then like I had forgotten they actually rehired him, and then they just fired him again a couple of weeks ago. Like it's just, I'll never understand it. I did enjoy the AJ storyline and stuff like that. And yeah, he did some really good stuff on NXT, but like, boy, yeah, really just makes no sense.
What do you think of pairing Kurt Angle and Gable Stevenson together?
I did see, I've been seeing that as well too. I think I want more of that. Like that is how you get guys over, because who immediately gives credibility to Stevenson? Kurt Angle. You've got the wrestling background. You've got all that stuff. Triple H bleeding pretty good at this point now. I'm all for it, and Kurt wants to, I think, get back into it, and so he can obviously still go. I think, like you said, that last run, I bet he's not happy with that either. And so I think getting back into it, like that's how it might take a couple years, but man. You figure what? Kurt's probably on a 5-year Legends contract or something at this point. So yeah, give him something to do. Let him get out there. Let him work the mic a little bit. Let him be a Paul Heyman for a little bit until Stevenson's comfortable. Because that's the other thing. Like all these guys are, and it's gonna be interesting what we see coming out of the PC with all the firings happening and stuff like that. Like I get Matt Bloom is still the kind of head coach, at least for now, but we might see some different things coming out of there, but it's still all the factory producing the same thing. It's just, we'll have to wait and see. Oh boy. There was a kind of
elbow drop off the middle turnbuckle to the outside, the old, when he was holding a chair. That was awesome.
That was very good. So yeah, I'm all for that. And I do like this kind of, okay, like we're going to build some stars. Like, let's actually build them now. But then I'm also hearing the rumors of after 3-4 months, if they don't like you, they're just going to fire you. So who knows? He's totally unproven right now too. We got to remember that.
The other thing with Angle is, I mean, he said it, he'll wrestle again.
Yes.
So, you just, come on. Angle and Gable Stevenson against 2 heels.
You're right.
Or you turn them heel and you have them be the heels. But dude, they'd be great. And then, how do you blow it off? Well, you blow it off with Angle's final match.
Ooh, yep.
I know, man, this is brutal. Triple H bleeding like crazy. But Angle's final match, like real final match, not bullshit final match versus Corbin, is when you have Stevenson beat him and you have those two tear down the house at a WrestleMania.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, why not? It doesn't have to be a Mania. Like, yes, I want it to be, but you can still do it. It doesn't have to have a belt involved. It's just you have him beat him and go on. So we've now gotten to the outside of the cage because one of the corners has buckled. So we're wrestling on the announce tables now. And so a creative way, as we've seen with like Braun and Shane lately, like to get them outside is have the cage break. And so that is exactly what we've had happen. Oh, pile driver on the table, not breaking. Oh, God.
I told you these two brought out the best in each other. Triple H's 5th best match ever was the street fight between these two. 6th best match ever was this Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
Yeah. So Triple H best match ever was that 3 Stages of Hell versus Steve Austin, which was supposed to be amazing.
We've got that on our list. We just need to finally get around to doing it.
Another good one's the Raw tag match of Benoit and Jericho versus Austin and Triple H. I remember that being like off the charts good. I believe that's the one where Triple H tore his quad. I'm almost positive of that. The triple threat match at WrestleMania 20, the Hell in a Cell match versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. But yeah, I mean, Triple H, obviously an incredible body of work. It was funny as I was looking at the list, I forgot about that Shield versus Evolution 6-man match.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. You got Stephanie getting involved too. She was kind of holding on to Cactus as he was going at it. Here we go. Here comes the barbed wire 2. Is hiding in the corner. The fans going ape shit as he's got the barbed wire 2x4. Bloodied already. Boy, the fans losing their mind over that one too.
Yeah, this was just during that era where a lot of main events were complete bloodbaths.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just displaying it proudly. Foley's arm looks like it's been split open as well, too. He's got some blood coming down. Here we go. Triple H climbing. Looking for the holes in the cage. Spoilers, we're going up. Shades of something previous. Interesting, they were creative enough to put a little bit of a hook on the 2x4, the end of it, almost like a purse strap, so that Foley could carry it up the cage. A little telling there. So we're up top now. At least Triple H is, and here we go. Yep. Oh, boy. Throws the 2x4 up there. Yep. Oh, boy. Yep. Here we go again. We're going to see, even with, we know it's been happening with NXT 2.0, but are we going to, the dirt sheets were saying that Triple H is just, as I think I read, it was not newsworthy.
Oh.
He's, and Foley falling off the cage.
I didn't remember that.
I didn't either. That was like off the side of the cage, Foley falling.
I totally forgot about that spot.
Are we going to see what is Triple H's role? Are we going to see him in the ring again? What are your thoughts there?
Physically, I don't know if he can pass a physical. I mean, I heard this heart thing was really bad, like really, really scary.
Yeah, I don't think we know the true story. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know if he steps back in the ring. Like I just don't know if he medically can get cleared, how that's going to work. I mean, he may be done, may not be. I mean, I don't know, but I wouldn't just assume that, he's got another 10 or 20 matches in him. I really don't know what they're going to do. That'll be interesting. It's also going to be interesting to see if he's going to take over the product or not. I mean, is he the guy? Is Steph taking over? Are they going to, tag team it? What's going on? This NXT stuff's fascinating too, because, we there's only so much we know, right? And yeah, you read stuff, you think things, but man, it's as an outsider, just based on what's happened, not based on what's been reported, but what's happened. It just feels like Triple H doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of influence or control in that company at this moment.
Absolutely not. Yep.
The idea was, hey, NXT is his. Hey, kid, go do whatever you want. And, if you learn enough about the business, then, you may be primed to be able to take over the big roster at some point down the line. Well, where are we at now? He's nowhere to be found. A lot of his quote unquote guys are gone from the company. I mean, how's Road Dogg gone? Like, shouldn't he have a job for life? Shouldn't Sean have a job for life? I mean, these are the best friends apparently of this guy. And, I mean, if Triple H had control, there's no way he'd let go of Road Dogg unless it was for behavioral things, which it wasn't. But he'd say, hey, man, maybe it's time to move on. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He wouldn't fucking fire the guy and release him publicly. So, Triple H doesn't seem to have a whole lot of influence. I don't know what Stephanie does on a daily basis. Chief brand officer can mean anything or nothing. So who knows how, it's a really weird dynamic, man.
She's really good at accepting awards. I've seen that more times than not. Yeah.
The other thing I don't understand either is I'm not a fan of them releasing people. And not everyone needs to have a job forever, but at the same time, like with Regal, you're there 21 years. Why not say, hey, can we throw you a retirement party and have you, wrap up in the next 6 months versus saying, hey, I got to call you in the office, clean out your locker after 21 years of, obviously these are not 9 to 5 jobs. These guys work their asses off.
It's so unceremoniously.
That's my issue with it. I have no problem with them cleaning house, cutting payroll. It's just how they do it is so cold. And you can still accomplish the same thing and part of it's just like a personal dignity thing. Like allow the guy to go out with some dignity as opposed to cutting them. So they're on I didn't mean to interrupt you, but they're on top of the cage.
No, you're fine.
Just a killer brawl, man.
So I'm curious too. I was looking at it. Oh, and now Triple H kind of falling through the. Oh boy, that would have been bad. Falling through the. They're in the corner, like not above the ring, and the cage is giving. They're playing. It's got to be planned, but still. So I'm looking at it too. It's currently online. It says WWE approximately has 800 full-time employees. Based out of like the kinetic. I don't know if that includes the wrestlers or not. And so, but still, like. Even if, going off of that though, like, and you figure they fired 100 of those people this year. Like that just seems crazy to me.
I know. I agree.
So they're still up top. We're kind of backing out of that corner here. Both guys kind of bloodied a little bit. So we're going for a DDT on top. Yep. Or Cactus hitting Triple H with it. Oh, they're still kind of on the edge there. Boy, that is, after the cage breaking with Undertaker, oh yeah, he's bleeding from his face pretty good. The cage breaking with Mankind going through from a choke slam, and then now them wrestling kind of on the edge of the cage, not above the ring, like that. That is freaky.
Yep.
Now Foley's got the 2x4. I feel like half the crowd too is in their seats. Half is like they looking like part of them are standing. It's just kind of weird right now. And oh boy, Foley looks like, is that a lighter? Oh yeah.
This is such an incredible visual.
Yep. And so now the flaming 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire on top of the cage, Foley holding it, and Triple H getting in position to take the spot. Kind of crawling on all fours. And he hits him. Hit him kind of with the middle of it, but that's okay. It still looked great. And that thing, boy, that is a flame. That is not worked. He's kind of setting it down on the cage now. Okay. Just kind of watching, waiting to see what happens here. It's like, so we're telling everybody too, like, go check this out. Well, we're kind of waiting for things to happen here. Don't forget Manscaped, 20% off free shipping, payoff 20. And oh boy. Yep. And there he goes through the cage, kind of a little falling, the ring kind of giving away a little bit too. And so you've got a little bit of padding there for once this time, unlike last time.
I know. I just wish they would have done that spot better. That's the only critique I have on this match. Was I just hate how it didn't break properly. Like, It just looked like a soft landing. Like if he would have gone through that, it would have been the coolest thing like ever.
Just like disappearing through the ring.
Yeah, like I wish they just would have cut a little bit of it. I mean, no one would have saw, right? They're on top of the cage. If they would have just cut a slit in the mat,
yep.
Never, ever, ever seen it on TV, but it would have like been ridiculous. And you still have a mat at the bottom, but you just never see it. Like he just disappeared into there.
And all you've got is like a leg sticking out or something like that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep,
that was
absolutely.
The only issue I had with this, because it just looked like, because it was just like, it's kind of a soft landing. That's it, man. It's the only thing I would have done differently.
Triple H now climbing. He's back in the ring. Foley, dead is Cactus. Yep. After falling through. Yep. Just kind of stalking him at this point. Just crazy. Again, I got cut off by the spot on the show. So yes, pay off 20. Make sure to use that code at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping. Make sure to get that checked out. So fans are cheering at this point too. Triple H kind of gingerly walking over to kind of kicking to see if he's alive. Oh, but motioning for the crowd to start cheering as he's crawling his way up. Great stuff. Great visual. Like, yeah, I'm with you on the spot, but yeah, they're still really good stuff though.
Again, I just think it would have been one of the best spots in the history of the company if he would have just gone through that ring.
I'd have to go back because knowing like now where he lands, I'm wondering were they wrestling much on that corner of the ring? I doubt it. Like, because
probably moved the boards after they went up top.
That's true. Yeah.
But I would have slit the mat so that he fell through.
Yeah. Finally set him up for the pedigree. It looks like. Yep. Got it. Yep. And there you go. 1, 2, 3. Beat the hell out of each other. Slobber knocker, as JR would say. And it absolutely was.
All right. We'll keep talking, but let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
It definitely exceeded my expectations. Like the spot was, obviously throwback to, making it a little bit safer and after doing it with the Undertaker and things like that. But overall, I was definitely impressed. That was definitely good. It was hard hitting. It was stiff as shit. But really no complaints. How about you?
Yeah, well, and yes, that one spot, man, because I remember watching this match live. I actually thought Foley was going to win for whatever reason. So but I loved watching this match live. Had no clue what they were doing or where they were going. No clue where they were going for WrestleMania. And I was so annoyed during that spot. Cause I'm like, shit, like you screwed it up. It just ruined it for me. I won't say ruined the match for me, but it really was the only thing. The aftermath following this match of Foley like leaving and stuff was so well done. I mean, again, that's my only critique, but it just was like, it's a fake spot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So what kind of happened with these guys? Yeah, Foley actually did, this was the retirement. And so he did leave for a little while. But as we know, the Big Show Triple H match itself didn't take place. We did end up getting, of course, at this point, it was the 4-way McMahon battle. And at the request of Linda, actually, he would represent her. Replacing Chris Jericho at the time at the main event of WrestleMania 2000, as we all know. And so, which was Triple H, The Rock, and Big Show. Triple H winning that one as well, too. But remembering Triple H pinned actually The Rock to retain his title at that WrestleMania 2000, losing it at Backlash to The Rock. And so he had the title for about 118 days by my count. So he regained it actually 3 weeks later. It was an Iron Man match at Judgment Day, and then hot shot in the belt, only losing it back to The Rock again at King of the Ring. And so a lot of back and forth at that point, a lot of things happening. He feuded again a little bit more with Chris Jericho, had a last man standing match between them, feuded with Kurt Angle a little bit too. This was the love triangle with him, Angle, and Stephanie, and doing that one as well too. And then wrestling The Rock at SummerSlam. So really just kind of back and forth with a lot of these guys. Like I said, kind of hot shotting the belt at each pair. I say not necessarily hot shotting, but it was moving every pay-per-view. So dealing with that, but overall pretty good stuff though. So where do we get though with the rankings?
They're showing the replay to that backdrop right now.
Yes,
dude,
I got it on too. Yep.
Imagine if he goes through the ring. I'm telling you, my payoff score is a 10 if that happens.
So they roll the stretcher out, but he's not using it. He's bloodied. Fans are cheering, clapping as Foley's kind of slowly walking out of the ring or walking up the ramp. Excuse me. Really good stuff. Nice send off, stuff like that. Yeah. So like we already said, spoiler, Triple H was number 1 for 2000. Foley actually was not ranked. And so the torch on this one, Foley crashed through the floor of the cage and landed flat on his back on a specially structured ring surface that gave way and padded his fall. It is supposed to be the last bump of his career in an official match. If so, it was a memorable one. Yet, despite that he risked his life to take the bump, it doesn't have the wrestling world buzzing. Why? Because he set the bar so high. He was a victim of his own one-upsmanship. Still, it was a fitting and suitable end for a career that was built on being willing to do more than anyone else to get ahead. There's no point in reviewing Foley's career since he did so in great detail in his book. What has yet to be fully realized is what his legacy will be. And so they kind of broke the match down at that one. A lot of Cactus chants and things like that is going on. So this was the Pro Wrestling Torch gave this one 4.5 stars. The Observer Newsletter gave the same 4.5 stars. This was, again, a great show. Thumbs up getting that one. And then this winning it was the only match that was on the best poll, kind of winning at that one. And so it should be mentioned right up front that Jim Ross did an amazing job getting over the drama of this match. It should be mentioned that the cameras did a zoom in on 12 fans holding up a lettering of Foley will die. I'm not sure which was sadder, the 12 fans who thought it would be cool to hold it up or the director who thought it'd be cool to show it to the fans. Foley seemingly gave everything he had and more than made up for the fact that physically he can't do that much. So kind of a hard take from Meltzer there. And so 4.5 from both. Tom, go for it.
Man, I love the match. I love the storyline. I loved what happened after the match. I loved that going into this thing, you really had no idea what they were doing or who was going to win it. The only knocks I have are, again, I won't call it a botch spot, but I'd call it not as good of a spot as it should have been. And then, the fact is the retirement stipulation obviously meant less than nothing. He was back in the ring a month later. So I'm giving it a 9, but it would have been a 10 if you got that spot right. And either we didn't have a retirement stipulation or he somewhat followed it. So that's it. But this to me was a 9. Really, really good stuff. What about you?
I'm at an 8.5. I think the match itself was fantastic. Like, I'm not a fan of the hot shotting and things like that. And but maybe that's not what it is. It's, it's just swapping hands every pay-per-view, but I still feel like you're not letting it build. You're not giving anyone time to, actually have the title and kind of build a story with that. So I'm not a big fan of that, but I think that it's just overall the in-ring work was phenomenal. Like, one spot, I'm not going to shit on that too hard because it was such a great match. Other than that hard to shit on that. And so I was happy with that. So 8.5 for me. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I loved it.
Absolutely. Send them home. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay. So next week we got a special guest. We got a big old ladder match. This should be exciting.
A very underrated ladder match.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be a fun one to cover.
Good. Okay. Send them home happy. Let's do it.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week on an all new episode of The Payoff.